Right here is a young 18-year-old Connor McDavid, and for every goal I score with Connor McDavid, that's going to be +1 age. So right here is an 18-year-old Connor McDavid, 80 overall, high franchise potential. You are going to notice the age still says 26. I can't change that, but these are all the stats that an 18-year-old Connor McDavid had, so you might as well just say this is 18-year-old Connor McDavid. And for game number 1, I feel it's only fitting that we take on the St. Louis Blues, seeing as this was the team Connor McDavid made his debut against. And after going scoreless in the first period, Connor McDavid's going to be going to work here, blowing by Nick Leddy, and then he's doing a little weave on Jordan Binnington, sniping it past him, and Connor McDavid's picking up his first of the video. But on top of scoring a goal with Connor McDavid at every age, we're also going to be rebuilding the Edmonton Oilers at every single age. So I put a rookie McDavid back on the Edmonton Oilers, and we're going to try to win them a Stanley Cup. And although McDavid's technically an 83 overall in his first NHL game, after carrying over all of his stats, like these are the exact stats he had in this first NHL game, he's only going to be an 80 here. But that's not really going to matter too much because of course he's got high franchise potential. We already know what he's going to develop into. I don't think he's going to develop into a 98 overall in this video, but he'll definitely be in the high 90s. And as for this Edmonton Oilers team, it's cooked. Respectfully, this team is chopped. The bottom 6 here, you could say it's virtually non-existent. Defensively, we have a decent piece here. That's Mattias Ekholm. The only issue is he's 33 years old, while the rest of these guys, I don't think they know what defense is. Meanwhile, the goaltending tandem, it's definitely not good by any means, but when you don't have a defense in front of you, you're kind of let out to dry. And for the little rebuild section in this video, I'm only allowed to make 3 moves, whether that's trades or free agent signings. Before we get into any of that though, a quick word from today's sponsor. I want to give a massive shout out to SeatGeek for sponsoring this video. SeatGeek is the best ticketing app out there for getting tickets for your favorite events. The NHL season's fully underway and now's your best time to pick up some tickets. They give every single ticket a rating so you know whether you're getting a good or a bad deal. On top of SeatGeek having tickets for thousands of events, if you use code SOTI at checkout, you're going to get $20 off your first purchase. And once again, I want to give a shout out to SeatGeek for sponsoring this video. Of course, the first thing we got to do is get a goaltender here. And Askarov, I think you're going to be the guy for us. Medium elite potential, 79 overall, 21 years old. It probably wouldn't be ideal for you to be our number 1 this season, but you know what? I wanted to get you a ton of reps this season, so we're going to try to rock a 79 overall goaltender. Now, I thought it was going to be very difficult to get a deal done here, but all we have to do is give up Stuart Skinner, Bourgault, and a 7th round pick, and we're picking up Askarov and a 4th round pick. I like that deal. Now, our second deal is going to be as simple as dumping Jack Campbell's contract. Supposedly, the Arizona Coyotes want him, so here you go. You can have him. I actually don't even care about getting a 7th round pick. As long as we can get rid of Jack Campbell's contract, I'm happy here. Cheering in the streets, you say? Not too sure about that one. So our final move here is going to be trying to pick up Brett Pesce from the Carolina Hurricanes, and the main reason we want to pick him up, he's a defensive defenseman. This man knows how to play defense. And that's exactly what we need. So here's the package that's going to get this done. It's going to be Cody Ceci, a 3rd round pick, Sam Gagner, a 4th and a 6th, over to the Carolina Hurricanes, and we got ourselves Brett Pesce. And the best part about this deal here, I think we're only going to be paying Brett Pesce like $1.5 million more than what Cody Ceci is getting paid. If that's not a massive upgrade, I don't know what is. Now, before we jump into the season simulation here, normally I would be trying to pass the Detroit Red Wings and YouTube subscribers. We're not focused on that today. I want to hit 50k before the end of the month. So if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, drop a like, and let's hit 50k in the next couple days. So I'm going to be completely honest with what our goaltending tandem looked like. I did not think there was a chance we make the playoffs, but here we are, 11th in the entire league, 43, 30, and 9. No clue how that happened, but you know what? I'll take it. So rookie McDavid was incredibly disappointing. Only 58 points on the top line alongside Leon Draisaitl, who's picking up 96. McDavid, how did that even happen? Also, you're up to an 82 overall, but even still, come on, my man, step it up. Meanwhile, Askarov, I can't really complain with what you did. 32 wins, 6 shutouts, a 910 to 292, and you're also up to an 82 overall as well. How you jump more overalls than Connor McDavid, I'll never understand. However, when the postseason did come around here, I don't think we should be really surprised that we're going to be falling in the first round. I don't even think we should have made the postseason, but hey, a win is a win, so I guess we'll take this as a small W. Meanwhile, Evander Kane was on top of his game. He picked up 5 points, and that's leading the way alongside Darnell Nurse and Leon Draisaitl, while McDavid, 4 points in 6 games, can't really complain with that. So at 19 years old, Connor McDavid was actually a 92 overall in NHL 17, but when I carry over his stats, similar to NHL 16, they don't hold up here, and he's actually only going to be an 89. However, these are still some fantastic stats, and I can guarantee I'm going to be scoring a beauty. And for our second matchup, I think we're going to take on the Anaheim Ducks here, a Pacific Division rival, but also the first team that eliminated Connor McDavid in the playoffs. So this would be a tough game here. You know, Anaheim was playing some great defense, but Connor McDavid, he's going to be turning on the Jets here, going coast to coast, blowing by literally every single Anaheim player, and then he's going backhand on John Gibson to bury it. So Leon Draisaitl is currently the highest overall on our team, 96 overall, so I'm going to be giving him 8 years at $11.5 million. For what Leon Draisaitl provides for this team, that's an absolute steal. Also, Evan Bouchard, I'm not even contemplating this deal right here, 5 years at $4.65 million. So Ryan McLeod, I know know I was just about to give you an extension, but things are changing because I'm going to package you up alongside Evander Kane, a 3rd round pick and a 7th, over to the Dallas Stars, and we're going to be picking up Thomas Harley and Wyatt Johnson. So I really want to bring Max Domi in, so we're going to do a 2-year deal at $3.4 million. It's a bit more than what he's asking for, but I feel like he could help the team a lot. And then our final move is going to be picking up another forward here, and that's going to be Kasperi Kapanen to a 3-year deal at $2.1 million. But in saying that, this is what we're rocking with this season. McDavid, Draisaitl, and Hyman, they're going to be the top line here. The rest of the forward core looks pretty solid except for this 4th line. I actually think it's worse than last season, which isn't a great sign. But the 3rd line, it's actually pretty solid. You know, Wyatt Johnson here, Mark Holloway. We can work with what we have here. Also, Johnson, the only reason I'm playing you on the 3rd line this season is because you have a great line fit. More than likely, we're going to have a new coach heading into next season, but we're working with what we have right now. Defensively, it's pretty solid here. Nurse and Pesce on the 1st pairing, Bouchard and Ekholm on the 2nd, and on that 3rd pairing, we got Harley and Broberg, a +2 overall boost. You'll love to see it. Meanwhile, we got ourselves a young tandem here in between the pipes with Ashcroft leading the way at an 84 overall. With the way this Edmonton team was looking, I didn't expect us to be this good. 10th in the entire league, 43, 32, and 7. We're slowly taking steps in the right direction here. And honestly, I'm incredibly surprised that we did this well, especially with our team sucking this much. Draisaitl 91 points, but McDavid only 69 points as an 87 overall. Bro, you're just doing cardio out there at this point. Also, Wyatt Johnson, you had 36 points, but you're a -20. Yeah, it's not the greatest sign in the world. Meanwhile, Ashcroft, a pretty solid season from you once again. 33 wins, 2 shouts, a 911 and a 290. Also, you got some X factors, an 86 overall. You're definitely going to be wanting a bag, and this is the bag that he's going to be getting. It looks like it's going to be a 6-year deal at $6.2 million. Honestly, that's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. However, in the postseason, even though our team was a bit better, we're not going to really see any success here, falling in the 1st round to the Seattle Kraken in 5 games. While the New York Rangers, they're going to be repeating, winning back-to-back Stanley Cups here. However, they just beat the San Jose Sharks. That might be the fastest rebuild in NHL history. But we do have some good news here, and that's McDavid finally turning the corner. 7 points in 5 games, over a point a game. And he's also up to an 89 overall, so you already know he's going to be over a 90 at the beginning of next season. And he should be over a 90 overall, because at 20 years old in NHL 18, Connor McDavid was actually a 93 overall, finally getting the respect he deserves. And just look at these stats. Fantastic across the board. A couple categories with 5 stars. You'll love to see it. So it was only a matter of time before Connor McDavid scored a goal against this team, the Calgary Flames. I don't think I need to explain the significance of this matchup. Also, Connor McDavid's not going to be scoring on this goal here, but I just thought I'd show it. Sam Gagner, you got incredibly lucky here. I have no clue how Jacob Markstrom isn't stopping that. And Jacob Markstrom's having a hard time stopping the puck right now because he already picked up 3 goals, and now some nice passing is going to find Connor McDavid. The fact that they gave McDavid that much space with his speed, you already knew that was in the back of the net. So Tom Harley, you were looking fantastic on the 3rd pairing last season, so I think it's time for you to get paid accordingly. 6 years at $2.6 million. But the best part about this deal is you're now a top 4 player. Because Mattias Ekholm, I'm not going to be bringing you back. I'm going to be trading you. Also, Max Domi's looking to be loyal to the soil here, so I'll do 4 years at 5.1. Also got a couple X factors now. You love to see it. So at no point did I ever say we were going to be realistic. So here's move number 1. It's going to be Darnell Nurse and a 1st round pick over to the Minnesota Wild. We're picking up Matt Boldy and 2 third rounders. If I can't get the draft compensation, that's not the end of the world, but I just want Matt Boldy on this team and I want him bad. So I guess we're going to be doing Nurse and a 1st rounder for Matt Boldy. Is that enough? They're still saying no. So I guess we're going to have to add a couple prospects. Or instead of a prospect, we just add a 2nd rounder and we get the deal done real quick. So with Darnell Nurse gone, we got to bring in his replacement. And Nugent Hopkins, I'm sorry to say, but we're going to have to trade you away. Luckily, you are going to be going to the Colorado Avalanche, so that's a competent team, as we're going to be picking up Bo Byram and Arturi Lehkonen. So this is the final move right here. Mattias Ekholm and a 6th round pick over to the New York Islanders for 2 depth pieces. It's going to help our 3rd pairing D-line, and it's also going to be helping our bottom 6. Okay, not going to lie, this is incredibly disrespectful. Heading into year 3, McDavid hasn't even cracked a 90 overall yet. He has high franchise potential. He's been playing on the 1st line his entire career, and they've had a +5 overall boost due to line chemistry. And you're telling me he's only reached an 89 overall. So it's time for us to give Connor McDavid his extension, and he's not going to be getting as much as he did in real life, because we're only going to have to give him $9.8 million for the next 8 seasons. If that's not the greatest deal of all time, I don't know what is. So as the years go on, the Edmonton Oilers keep getting better and better. This time we're 8th in the entire league with a 44, 28, and 10 record. And we might be in year number 3 here, but Connor McDavid's finally going to be breaking out. 37 goals and 69 helpers. He's got 106 points. While Draisaitl, he's also going to be picking up 100 points on that top line. Meanwhile, Ashcroft, a slower season from you. I'm actually a little disappointed in these numbers. Only 30 wins, 1 shutout, a 906, and a 310. These are definitely not Stanley Cup numbers, so if we want to win one, you better step it up in the postseason. And unfortunately, it doesn't look like Ashcroft's going to be stepping it up in the postseason, because we're going to be getting eliminated in the 1st round of 6-game series. Is this team ever going to get out of the 1st round? We're in year number 3 here, and I think we've lost in the 1st round all 3 times. times. It's not a good look. But I mean, I guess we can celebrate this postseason success from McDavid, 7 points in 6 games. No, I'm not going to glaze this, man. We lost in the first round. Nothing to be happy about. Moving on to 21-year-old Connor McDavid, the overalls are actually starting to match as he's a 94 overall. And with fantastic stats like this, really, this man has no weakness, except for fighting. He can't fight to save his life. So I decided that 21-year-old Connor McDavid was going to be taking on the Toronto Maple Leafs here. And I do want to mention, I am playing on All-Star difficulty. And if you watched my Connor Bedard video the other day, you would not understand how I'm scoring so easily on All-Star difficulty. It doesn't really make sense. So we have to shake the team up a little bit, and Zach Hyman, you're going to be traded, 89 overall at 34 years old. You're going to be declining pretty quick here. But you know who's not going to be declining? The greatest player of all time, Robert Thomas, 26 years old, 90 overall. Can we do 1-for-1 here? I didn't expect this to go through, but I had to try it. Now, if I add a prospect into this deal, is that enough to get it done? I guess it is. Robert Thomas, welcome to the Edmonton Oilers. Something about you in Edmonton doesn't sit right with me. Okay, so I offered a trade over to the St. Louis Blues and it got accepted immediately. I was not prepared for that. And this is what the trade was. Domi, a second rounder, and Bolduc over to the St. Louis Blues for Jordan Kyrou, Tyson Jost, and Zach Bolduc. We get a younger playmaker in Jordan Kyrou, and then we pick up 2 amazing pieces for the bottom 6 here. I didn't think there was a chance in a million years that St. Louis accepted this deal, but here we are. The one guy I'm on the fence about right now is Arturi Lehkonen because he's wanting over $6 million. I'll be able to get him for probably about 5.4, but even still, 5.4 for Arturi Lehkonen, it seems like quite a bit. But you know what? We'll extend him, we'll keep him on the team, and if we have to, we'll trade him away. So after the additions we made over the offseason, I think we're looking better as a team in general, like McDavid, Boldy, Draisaitl on the first line, Kyrou, Wyatt Johnson, Robert Thomas on the second. That's a great top 6, and even the bottom 6 here, it's actually really good. Defensively, we have ourselves a pretty strong core here, but I want Thomas Harley to start developing. I mean, I was hoping he'd be an 85 by now, but he's only an 82. I need you to step it up, plain and simple. Meanwhile, Askarov, you continue to look fantastic, 87 overall. You even got some more X factors. You still got that medium elite potential. Maybe you'll hit a 90 overall. You might even get yourself a superstar X factor, but you'll get that after you win us a Stanley Cup, of course. The Oilers are going to be taking a slight step back this season, but they're still going to be making the postseason, 12th in the entire league with a 44, 34, and 4 record. I actually think we won more games this season, but the only reason we were higher last year is because we had 10 OT losses. So those OT losses definitely add up. It might have taken a long time, but it's finally happening here. Connor McDavid's breaking out, 53 goals, 69 helpers, 122 points, the best season he's ever had. And then we got Draisaitl here with 111, and Robert Thomas, not a bad season from him. He's picking up 72 points. Meanwhile, holding it down in between the pipes, we already knew it was going to be this man, Askarov. He's got 32 wins, 3 shouts, a 905, and a 296. Not the greatest numbers you've ever posted, but they're definitely better than last season. So I don't even know what it is about this Edmonton team anymore, but they can't win. We're losing in the first round once again. I have a couple moves in mind for next season, but we just wasted a Connor McDavid 120 point season. I'm sick to my stomach. Now it's time for us to pick up another goal with Connor McDavid, and this time he's 22 years old at a 95 overall. The stats are going to be looking pretty similar to last season, but how can they really get much better? 5 stars across the board except for physicality. I've said it numerous times already. This man can do everything except fight. Now for this matchup, I think it's only fitting that we take on the Chicago Blackhawks because this was technically the bubble year for Connor McDavid, and this is when there was a massive upset where they lost to the Chicago Blackhawks. Now this goal you're seeing from Connor McDavid here, I couldn't even explain in words. What was I cooking up here? Because I was cooking up something special, deking around the entire Chicago Blackhawks team, and then we're going to bury this one in the back of the net. Easily the best goal I've scored today. So here's what I've crafted up. Arturi Lehkonen, 5.4 million to play on our bottom 6 is definitely not worth it, especially since you only picked up 38 points last year. You're 31 years old, you're probably going to start declining soon. Meanwhile, Dylan Dubé, he's still pretty young, 28 years old, 86 overall. He's even got some X factors. We're going to acquire him and then play him on the top 6 here. Our next move is going to be bringing Kyrou Yamamoto back to the Edmonton Oilers for a 3rd rounder in Lausanne. I have a plan for Kyrou Yamamoto, and if it works out, it'll be massive for us. In order to get this deal done though, we have to throw in another 6th rounder because that's the difference maker. Also, I don't know why I said another 6th rounder. I just need to add 1. So this is what our core is going to be for this season. The top 6 continue to... So this is what our core is going to be looking like for this season. Our top 6 continues to look amazing, while the bottom 6, it's pretty solid here. I mean, maybe the 4th line could use a bit of work. Outside of that, we got a great forward core. Defensively, we're looking basically the exact same here, except for this guy right here. We drafted him 20th overall a couple years ago, but he's had some fantastic development, so I can't wait to see what he does this season. Meanwhile, the goaltending tandem staying the exact same, but Askarov, he's dropped to an 86 overall, so I'm a bit concerned there. He's still got medium elite potential though, so I guess we'll see what he does this season. And you might also have noticed I only made 2 moves, and there's a reason for that. Right now, Bo Byram's on an expiring contract, and he doesn't want to sign an extension with the team. And if we do offer him an extension, he wants 1 year at $10 million. I'm not willing to only do a 1-year deal. I want at least 5 minimum. So if he's not willing to negotiate a bit with me here, we might be trading him later on. So Bo Byram, it looks like he's smarting up a little bit. He's willing to do 4 years, but I want 5. So we're going to do 5 years at 8.8 million. You know what? We'll up that to 9 million straight. So 9 million per year for the next 5 years. That's a good deal for us. So our Edmonton Oilers team is just a very strange team. We're 18th in the entire league. We're sneaking into the playoffs here. We really shouldn't have. But here's the thing. Defensively, we're actually not that bad of a team. We're in the upper half for sure. I think we're like, what, 9th in the entire league here? Like, that's pretty solid. However, when it comes to goal scoring, we can't find the back of the net, and that doesn't really make too much sense to me. Like, I mean, we're in the middle of the pack here, but I built a pretty good offensive team. That's why I don't really understand why we can't score. Okay, this is abysmal right here. McDavid 100 points, Draisaitl 78, Kyrou 71. What was this team doing this year? I mean, the third line definitely wasn't good, minus 20 and minus 13 here, but some of y'all just weren't scoring. Like Leon Draisaitl, 78 points. I know you're 32 years old, but come on, my guy. I need more from you. Goaltending wise, I can't really complain with these numbers right here. 32 wins, 4 shots, a 905 and a 289. I would like some slightly better numbers, but I mean, we can work with this. I have some good and bad news. The bad news is we're not going to be winning a Stanley Cup here. The Vegas Golden Knights are. But the good news, we finally made it to the second round, and we took the Vegas Golden Knights to 7 games, so we were competing with the Stanley Cup champions. So maybe our team isn't as bad as I thought. So it's time for us to see what 23-year-old Connor McDavid can cook up at a 95 overall. Can we score a beauty like we did with your 22-year-old self? I'm not too sure. However, there is one really strange difference with his stats. His puck control dropped by 1, and his discipline dropped by 17. Those are the only 2 differences between the 22 and 23-year-old version. How does that make sense? So this goal is going to be starting in the defensive zone here early in the game, as Connor Brown's going to be intercepting the puck. And Connor Brown, I didn't know you still had wheels like this, turning on the Jets, getting past the defenseman. But you know who else is getting past the defenseman? Connor McDavid is. He's catching up, and he's going to tap this one in the back of the net. So our first trade is going to have us picking up Rosen from the Seattle Kraken, an 81 overall, 25 years old. He's got 3 years left on his contract and a very reasonable cap hit, so I'm hoping he can fit on our bottom 6 here after we add a 4th rounder to the deal. So our second move here is going to be sending one of these medium elite potential goaltenders along with Broberg over to the Seattle Kraken for Nelson here, 24-year-old. He's an 81 overall. Honestly, I just want to try something different with the defensive pairings, and hopefully he can spark something. Now, honestly, I'm just banking on the offense being better this season, because I really don't understand why this team right here can't find the back of the net. Like, maybe the second line can't score, but I mean, they should be able to. So this is the package I'm cooking up right here. I'm trading for all of these guys because our bottom 6 cannot keep the puck out of the net. Kevin Hayes, pretty solid defensively. Ryder Ritchie, great defensively. Kasperi Kapanen, good enough defensively. They can all fit on our bottom 6 here. We're bringing them in. So there we go. We're getting the deal done, and our bottom 6 should be much better now. That was our final move, by the way. So after those moves are made, this is what we're going to be rocking with from here on out. Draisaitl, McDavid, Thomas on the first line, Kyrou, Kevin Hayes, Boldy on the second, Kapanen, Ryder Ritchie, and Dubé on the third line, and then Tullio, Holloway, and Rosen on the fourth. And Ryder Ritchie, I don't understand why your asking price is so low right now, but I'll do 8 years at $2.5 million. Alright, so that trade definitely turned our team around. First in the entire league, 55, 22, and 5. I don't know what our record was after that trade, but it was definitely really good. So the team looked fantastic here. McDavid's got 113 points, Draisaitl 112, Robert Thomas, career year, 92 points. You'll love to see it. The rest of the team here, I can't complain with the production. Meanwhile, Askarov, it's no surprise with the defense in front of you. You're having your best season yet. 50 wins, 5 shots, a 912, and a 265. Please let these numbers continue into the postseason. We need Edmonton to get at least 1 Stanley Cup. No way I'm simulating 9 years with Connor McDavid only for us to not win a Stanley Cup once again. This is the most success we've ever seen in a postseason run so far. We've made it all the way to the conference finals, but we're going to fall in 6 games to the Colorado Avalanche, who are going to sweep the Islanders for the Stanley Cup. That's back-to-back years now we've lost to the Stanley Cup champs. McDavid was elite in the postseason. I mean, I'm sorry that we couldn't win this man a Stanley Cup. 15 goals in 18 games, 12 helpers, 27 points. It's not your fault, McDavid. We let you down. Similar to 23-year-old Connor McDavid, 24-year-old Connor McDavid just has strange stats as well. His puck control is going to be going back up to a 97, but his passing is going to drop to a 96, while his discipline goes up to an 80. First of all, why is Connor McDavid's passing ever dropping? Same with his puck control. And then why is his discipline fluctuating by 10 each season? But you know what? We can't spend too much time focusing on that because we got to get ready for our next matchup as we're taking on the Colorado Avalanche. And with the goal Connor McDavid scoring here, there's one thing I can say. Shout out to Mikko Rantanen, because without that man, this puck doesn't go in the back of the net. Like seriously, without Mikko Rantanen, this puck does not go into the back of the net. Thanks for picking up the own goal. So I'm going to be completely honest, I was very concerned on what these extensions were going to look like, but $7 million per year for the next 6 years for Matt Boldy, an absolute steal. Meanwhile, with Evan Bouchard, 6.5 for the next 4 years, I'm willing to make that commitment. So we got to make some changes to the defense, and with Brett Pesce rapidly declining at 34 years old, he's dropped to an 82 overall. We got to pick up a young player here, and this is the guy we're going to be acquiring from the Anaheim Ducks, 25 years old and 81 overall. He can fit in our top 4, and that's exactly where he's going to be playing. And then I'm immediately flipping that 3rd round pick along with a lowly potential prospect over to the Chicago Blackhawks. We're picking up Tellquist here. He's a nice young piece, and I think he can fit on the bottom 6 here. Now Tellquist, I have no clue why you would ever accept this contract, but your asking price is only $3.4 million, so let's see if you accept 3.2 for the next 8 seasons. There's no reason why you should accept this, but I think you might. So clearly the defense on this team is much better because we basically kept everyone around except for Kevin Hayes, so the forward core here should be able to keep the puck out of our own net. Defensively, we're still looking pretty solid here in Lemieux. He has a fantastic fit on the second pairing here, plus 2 overall boost. We definitely should be able to work with that. Meanwhile, in between the pipes, of course, Askarof's the guy here. He's got exact elite potential now, an 88 overall. You see the X factors. We already know what he can do. Now we just need to close out and finally win a Stanley Cup. So once again, the Oilers are going to be having an incredible season, first in the entire league, 56, 23, and 3. And just look at this offense, almost 4 goals a game, and the defense incredible as well, second best in the entire league, 2.84. Meanwhile, you already know Connor McDavid's going to be an absolute beast, 118 points here. Robert Thomas, 114. I mean, I think you can make the argument he's better than McDavid, but you know what? We'll save that for another day. Draisaitl, 109. Kyrou, 82. The scoring on this team's elite. And you know who else is elite? Askarov here, 46 wins, 3 shots, and 909 to 285. Who is the backup? Couldn't tell you. It doesn't matter. We're rolling. And this team's going to keep on rolling because it's finally happened. We went to 3 game 7s, but we're going to win all 3. And the Edmonton Oilers, they're finally Stanley Cup champions, taking down the Carolina Hurricanes in a 7-game series. It took a while, but we're finally here, Stanley Cup champs. Meanwhile, are we really surprised that this man's going to be leading the way? Connor McDavid, 33 points in 27 games, 18 goals, 15 helpers. They've finally done it. They've won a Stanley Cup. Robert Thomas, 26 points. He's got his second. Everything's perfect in Edmonton now. We've turned the franchise around. Meanwhile, Askarov, of course, I got to highlight your numbers. 16 wins and 918 to 275. Let's run it back next season. Let's go for the repeat and get McDavid his second Stanley Cup, but more importantly, Robert Thomas is third. So here's 25-year-old Connor McDavid, also known as last season's Connor McDavid. I'm going to be completely honest here. Given what this man did last season, the fact that he doesn't have 99 in some stat categories, that's just not right. And since 25-year-old Connor McDavid was last season's McDavid, we might as well take on last season's Stanley Cup champions in the Vegas Golden Knights. And since I'm talking so much about last season, this is the most fitting goal for Connor McDavid to score, a power play one, seeing as this team was so dominant on the power play. So in the re-sign phase, we literally only need to re-sign 1 player, but now we got to give out some extensions. And Askarov, we're getting 7 years at $6.5 million. It's only $300K more than what you're getting paid right now, so I'll definitely take it. But now we got to give out the big money, and that's going to be going to Robert Thomas, 6 years at $11.2 million. He's a 100-point guy for us. He's been fantastic. We better keep him around. And another guy we're going to try to keep around, Jordan Kyrou. So we're giving him a 4-year deal at $9.2 million. So here we go. Let's just run it back. We got the entire team here. I think it's literally the exact same team, player for player. So we should get the same result. We might not have been as dominant this season, but we were still a fantastic team. 48, 27, and 7, and we're 5th in the entire league. On top of that, Connor McDavid continues to dominate like usual. He's leading the way with 105 points. He's got 46 goals and 59 helpers. And when the postseason came around, boy, am I disappointed. Making it all the way to the Stanley Cup final for our 2nd year in a row, but we're going to be falling in a 6-game series to the New York Islanders. This team was playing at the top of their game, but when push came to shove, it looks like the Islanders had an answer. Just look at these numbers from Connor McDavid. We let this man down. 31 points, 17 goals, 14 helpers. You did everything you could. We just didn't hold it down on our back end. So here we are with the current Connor McDavid, 26 years old, 97 overall. The stats, fantastic. We didn't need to discuss that. But I think what we should talk about is the fact that this Edmonton Oilers team has basically been rebuilding for the past 15 years, and you're currently bottom 5 in the entire league. Because you have to remember, before McDavid got there, Nugent Hopkins was drafted, Taylor Hall was drafted. There was a lot of high overall picks before McDavid got there, and yet here they are. Now for 26-year-old Connor McDavid, there's only one fitting matchup for us, our biggest ops, the San Jose Sharks. Now, normally in a situation like this, I would go ripping on the San Jose Sharks, but something happened and I'm not going to do that. And we're not going to discuss what that thing was. Now, there is one massive thing that the Edmonton Oilers and San Jose Sharks have in common. They both can't play defense. So we're just going to pick apart the defense here. And Connor McDavid, he's going to have an easy backhander to bury it. But we can't end the video just yet because we still have to win Connor McDavid another Stanley Cup. So we're not going to make a ton of trades here, but we are going to be making this one, picking up Pitton. He's an 83 overall, 21 years old, an incredibly young player. He can fit on the bottom 6 here, so why not add him to the team? And honestly, it really doesn't matter what we give up here because this is the last season. So if we have to throw another second round pick in this deal along with a 5th rounder, I'm perfectly okay with that. And then we'll give Pitton 6 years at $4.2 million because why not? Since it's the final year, we might as well make a massive splash here. I'm going to try to pick up Noah Dobson. This is the package we're going to be starting with. I'm assuming we're going to need a bit more. And we are going to need a bit more, but why waste any time here? Let's just throw in another 1st round pick and get this deal done. Yeah, so we made a mistake here. We can't afford Pitton anymore. And now he's off to the Calgary Flames. All right, I guess we're trading for him. Again. You know what, screw it. We don't need Mitten. We're picking up St. Louis legend Jake Neighbors. Did I waste a bunch of assets there? Absolutely, but it doesn't really matter. Our team's elite. So here we go, one final season here. The team looks absolutely fantastic. I honestly can't see anyone stopping us. And to finish it all off, we have a new starting goaltender, Campoli, 88 overall at 22 years old. This man's progression has been insane, and now he's taking the reins away from Askarov. Never thought that would happen, but we have an 88 overall and an 86 as our tandem. No, we're definitely winning 60 games. And to finish off McDavid's 9 years in Edmonton, we're finishing first in the entire league once again, 58, 18, and 6. Averaging over 4 goals a game, and our defense incredible 2.96. Let's go get ourselves one last Stanley Cup. And you already know, if we're winning a Stanley Cup, Connor McDavid's got to be leading the way, and he's having an incredible year. This might even be a new career high for him. 125 points, 58 goals, 67 assists. You'll love to see it. When it comes to our goaltending, Campoli didn't do as well as I was expecting. 41 wins here, 2 shouts, an 897 and a 307. If we want to win a Stanley Cup, we might have to go back to Askarov because he had better numbers across the board. But I guess it just doesn't matter who's in between the pipes for us, because the Edmonton Oilers, once again, they're going to be winning a Stanley Cup. They made the Stanley Cup final 3 straight years now. They've taken home 2 of them, and Connor McDavid, he's going to be walking away with another Stanley Cup. He's picked up 2. Edmonton, I think it's about time you hire me to run the team, because McDavid and Draisaitl, they're going to be packing their bags in the next few years.